on fire, fire. We're excited that you did a time of reflection with us. Body of Fire is a show. She's an author, motivator, inspirational speaker. On fire to inspire the whole world. She's a girl to fire, on fire, to inspire, on fire, to inspire, on fire. And she's on fire, on fire, to inspire, on fire, to inspire, inspiration, motivation, encouragement, empowerment. You need inspiration, a little bit of motivation. See, that's where. Thank you for tuning to the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the sponsors of the show. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to On Fire to Inspire. I am Aaliyah, your host, the Purpose Midwife. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us this beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been doing anything else, being somewhere else, but you chose to spend it with us, and for that we are totally grateful. I am going to jump in just a few moments, but before we do so, I want y'all to hit that share button, number one. And number two, I'm going to be thanking our sponsors while y'all do that, okay? So I want to thank our sponsors. First of all, I want to thank my sponsor, uebdesigns.com. Y'all, uebdesigns.com. Keep us with all the cutest accessories. We have different accessory sets and things of that nature each and every week. That is UEB Designs with an S.com. Thank you so much, UEB Designs. We have the Brown team, y'all, the award-winning Brown team. It's a husband and wife team, Cornelia and Bernard. And y'all, they are, when I tell y'all, just a beautiful couple inside and out. And they are an award-winning team, but it's not about the money. It's about getting you what you want and what you need. So if you have any type of real estate needs, make sure you connect with them. They are with Better Homes and Gardens, Metro Brokers of Atlanta, and they will take great care of you. You can reach them at 404-843-2500. Again, that's 404-843-2500. That is Cornelia. As for Cornelia, and she and Bernard will take great care of you. When I tell y'all, even though they are a multi-million-dollar producing team, it's not even like that with them. I love them. And then mombizboss.org. If you are an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, you want to connect with these ladies. It's boss.org. Connect with them. They have a free group that you can connect with. They have a paid one, but I'm telling you, you can glean so much from these amazing ladies. Everybody has different type of businesses. They have a brunch each and every month where you can just learn from great speakers. Just awesome group. I'm excited to be a part of that group. And I've actually emceed a couple of their events. That's mombizboss.org. If you don't have Leadership Inside Trajectory inside of your library, whether you have the ebook or the paperback, you want that book. It's called Leadership Inside Trajectory by my pastor and big brother, Apostle Ricky D. Surratt. Great evening to you, Pastor Flo. Great evening, everyone, as you're joining. Y'all make sure you hit that share button because we don't want y'all to miss a tat of this, right? Y'all know the country girl coming out. A tat of this interview that's coming up. If you are trying to pursue your wellness goal or you're trying to just get moving, y'all want to join us on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. with go look up on Facebook, Come Dance with Mina, M-E-N-A. Come Dance with Mina, y'all. Zumba. I think we did about 4,500 plus steps last night. When I tell you, she make us work, but it's so much fun. High energy and just so much fun. That's Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That on Facebook is Come Dance with Mina, M-E-N-A. Virtual and local classes are available. And then finally, if you don't have any of my products, I don't know why, but if you don't have any of my products, make sure you go to onfiretoinspire.com. I'm going to repeat that just in case you didn't hear me. Onfiretoinspire.com. You have some great stocking stuffers. You have my coloring book, my affirmational coloring book called adult coloring. Y'all, I can't even think of the name of it. Affirmations is an adult coloring book of affirmations. We have the journal. We have so many books and products, but y'all can check that out and get a perfect gift or stocking stuffer for a family member. And I actually, as I was driving into the studio, I heard, had a ping had said, "Hey, I got your coloring book and I loved it for myself. I need one for my mom as a stocking stuffer." So hey, y'all, great things. And for those of you who have it, y'all send me some pictures because I love that. I share it with my personal group, I Am Inspiration group, and just keep the ladies encouraged. I give them a daily word or a daily scripture, and that I Am Inspirations. On Facebook if you want to join that free group. All right, y'all, we're gonna jump on into the this awesome interview. We have the dynamic Miss Asia Lee is our guest tonight. The topic is the importance of self-love, self-esteem, and attaining goals. Because so many times we love everybody else. Well, what about yourself? Let's welcome Asia to our platform. Welcome to All Friday Inspire. Asia, how you doing?
You so much. I am amazing. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. I am great. So, Asia, this is your first time on
Oh,
Friday Inspire. So, welcome. And secondly, I want you to introduce yourself to the On Friday Inspire family and platform.
okay. Well, first, before I even get started, I wanted to say how much I love that theme song. That is how you get it started to get people encouraged. I felt nice and relaxed. I was over here jamming. It was really nice. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
My name is Asia Lee. I am a 28-year-old certified professional life coach. I do motivational speaking. I do a lot of work within the schools and nonprofit organizations talking with kids. I'm a huge mental health advocate, social media manager. Like I have a lot of different titles. I have a lip gloss line called Lay Your Lips. I have a podcast as well called Holly Sees It. So that's just a little bit about me.
What's the title of your podcast?
Lee Sees It. It's on HOW, how Lee, that's Asia Lee, sees it. So the way that I see the world, the way
How
that I
Lisi.
experience different things. I got it started just learning and growing about myself and figured that I needed to share it with my community, my generation, and my peers.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome because so many times people are looking for help and knowing how to navigate some things. So that's amazing. That is amazing. So
Especially our
tell
community.
us about the topic itself, the importance of self-love, self-esteem, and attaining goals. What does that topic say or mean to you?
I absolutely love the fact that you chose that topic because it is my life. Self love is my life. It is what I preach to my kids when I go and speak with them. Self esteem, because, like you said, so many people in the world are looking for a source of safety, of guidance, and education. And for people to be relatable, for us to all understand that we go through the same problems, but especially as it relates to the youth, building upon who you are is super important. So self-love it's literally like one of the top tier things that I teach with my life coaching as well, because so many people are missing out on it. It's not even just about the youth. Adults are lacking self-love. Adults are lacking self-esteem, and that's why they show up mean. That's why they don't have enough confidence to pursue their dreams. That's why they don't give themselves a chance to really be their most authentic, highest self, because they don't have it. And what I loved about the topic is that it all really relates to one another. Self love, self esteem, and attaining success locks back in, because when you attain those two things first, then the success just starts rolling your way. And that's what my life has been in my journey of self love, honestly.
I love it. I love it. So, what made you pursue going in this direction? Deciding that, you know what, I want to be a life coach. I want to mentor others and help bring them. What was your inspiration to do that?
Self-love was my inspiration to do that. You know why? Because in 2020 quarantine, that's when the world got really shaky. And being a huge mental health advocate, I realized how many people are really affected by depression and anxiety and sadness and anger and confusion. And in 2020 quarantine, a lot of people got taken down by not only the COVID and sickness, but by mental health, by domestic violence, by abuse, and so many different things. And quarantine is when I really started to work on myself, when I took my self love a lot more seriously, when I took my self esteem a lot more seriously, and when I started taking Attaining success a lot more seriously. They all started working hand in hand. So in 2020 quarantine, I was like, listen, I don't know what's going on in the world, but I'm getting ready to stay home for a little while. I just wanted to be, I work in a hospital as well, in a cardiology clinic. I've been working there for 8 years since I was 20 years old. So I've learned, I've grown so much. I've been able to get my life coaching certification while being there, like just learning to use those spaces to keep building upon yourself. It's not for us to be meant to work for people for the rest of our lives. And I try to get young people to understand that. It does sometimes take time to learn your purpose, though. And at 28, by the time I was 26, is when I started finding it. But I think every day I walk towards it a lot more than I ever did any other time in my life. So in quarantine is when I really started focusing mentally, physically, financially. I want to do better. We all have come from a lot of different backgrounds. Some people financially not in the best situations, living in the hood, so many different things that affect our mental health and the way that we show up once we're finally on our own as adults. So I realized like my life is my responsibility and my health is my responsibility, my wealth is my responsibility. Everything is mine. So I have to take control. And I literally use all of my social media platforms to show people that you can do it. So I work out just about every day. I make my posts, and so many people get inspired, on fire to inspire, because that's what we should be using this for, to build each other up and show us that we can do whatever we want to do. So I put everything that I learned out there. I started my podcast in 2020, and I share everything that I learned about emotional intelligence and going to therapy and the things that we grew up in certain Black households thinking is normal that is not, with the way that we communicate and result into anger and violence. And it's like in my generation, younger people, they need to know that it's not okay. It's the reason why you're not getting to your next level, because you want to fight. It's because you don't have any self love. You haven't identified who you really are.
You said something that is very taboo in our community. You said therapy. In our community, that means that something's wrong. And one of the things I love that my cousin said one time is, you can have a pastor and you can have a therapist all at the same time. I love that statement. So what have you found in your dealing with your peers and dealing with some of your clients, their take or their outlook on therapy?
It's really a lot of pushback when it comes to therapy. But I'm the type, I am pushing these things down people's throat. I don't care what they say. We have to do something, because if somebody tells me, listen, I'm not going to therapy, I'm not going to pay a stranger that doesn't know me to listen to my problems, I can talk to my friends. I then challenge you with the question, do your friends have the tools to lead you into the right direction, or do they go through the same things that you go through and don't know what to do about it? Your friends can't help you. Okay, your friends cannot help you. We need professional help on a lot of different things when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to emotional intelligence, and when it comes to mental health. It's a stigma in the Black community, but I'm starting to realize that even if people don't jump on it right away when you try to tell them something that is taboo, just because I'm enlightened and I'm thinking higher, I can't expect everybody to come with me. And I had to learn that in my journey as well. It gets frustrating when you know so much more and you think higher and you do better and you want the people you love to do the same thing. And it's They don't want to. They're not ready. Everybody's on their own journey to do what they want to do. And if they're comfortable with living low vibrationally, then that is what they have to do. And I can't be a part of it. But when it comes to that therapy, it's starting to work because I realize the more I still just put things out there, people will randomly tag me in something that's about therapy. Somebody tagged me in a black man, and this is when I really get excited because black men really struggle the worst, and I feel the most bad for them, honestly. Because as women, it's easy for us to talk and express and say what we want to say, and it's a struggle for a lot of men in general, not just black men. But one of my male friends on there had tagged me in a post. Another black guy was asking about therapy or where he could find something. And I'm like, it's working. People are watching me and know that I'm a source, that if you need some information on where to find therapy or some tools with life coaching, I'm here. And that's what makes me feel like I'm in my purpose. And because of my self love journey and because of the self esteem that I have, I'm attaining success, and it's sharing it with other people so that they can attain success, so that their self-love journey can start, so their self-esteem journey can start.
I love it. So for the person that's listening and they're like, you know what? I hear you, Asia. I need to do that. What would you tell them to do first in attaining or moving forward in going in that place of learning how to love themselves over again because they've allowed life, they've allowed relationships, they've allowed things that's happened to them, whether it was past or childhood, to define them. So many people wear that as their definition on their shoulders. So what would you tell them? How would you tell them, okay, this is how you need to start your process, or these are some options? How would you kind of direct them into that journey of self-love?
As some options on the journey of self-love, the first one that I think is the most important that people struggle with the hardest, this is why we can never get started. When you're really ready to start that journey of self-love, you have to be okay with spending some time alone. You have to be okay with being by yourself. A lot of people are in tumultuous relationships, untrustworthy friendships, just because I hear people say this out their mouths that they don't like being by themselves. And I'm just hurt by that. It's okay to be in relationships, especially if it's a good relationship that's feeding into you and that person, you feed into that person and y'all help build each other up. But a lot of times, especially in my generation, it's two broken people coming together, making more brokenness. And so when nobody wants to sit by themselves, you'll never give yourself that go on what you need to work on because it takes that alone time. I had to sit in my house by myself. I was in this house by myself for 6 weeks alone every single day to see, where do I procrastinate? You have to start that journey of self awareness to start self love as well, because loving yourself is being honest with yourself, being honest about your shortcomings so you can do better. Knowing when you lie to yourself about certain things, when your words don't align with your actions, when your actions don't align with your words. That's where the journey really begins. So you got to get quiet and you have to be able to dig through your feelings and feel them, understand why, ask yourself a lot of questions. And we really do have the answer. You just got to be quiet. Too many people around you. Spend some time alone. That's the first start.
I love it. I'm trying to capture some of this and actually type it. And when I type it, it's actually going to all three of the platforms that we're on. All right. So one of the things you said was get by yourself, be okay with being by yourself. And that is so true, Asia, because that may have be the case with some of your age group, but that's the case even in my age group. You hear women it's like, well, I don't like being by myself. But here's the thing. You'd rather be by yourself and be at peace than to be in some toxicity and have no peace. That's me. But but that's the case though. Don't you think? When you
Absolutely.
say
Even in relationships, you can spend time alone. You can even be in a relationship with somebody and still have time to do your own thing. He does his own thing. So y'all know who y'all are without each other. Because if your relationship, who you are, only depends on your relationship and the person that you with, then that's not okay. That's not honoring your self-love because you're a person before you're a woman in a relationship, before you're a wife, before you're a husband. And a lot of people get lost in that. Also, even in parenthood, people get lost. It's not just relationships. In parenthood, you just go through taking care of your kids every day and doing what you got to do. You get so lost, you don't have time or energy for anything but what you have to do. But you have to make time. It is important for your mental health, for your self love, for your self esteem to understand.
Girl,
Just a
you
second.
preaching over here. You are preaching tonight. You know, one of the things,
Sir,
one of the things, I have a group in Facebook called I Am Inspiration, and I keep the women encouraged over there. And one of the things that I say all the time is self care is not an option, it's essential. Because if you think about getting in an airplane, when you get on the airplane, they tell you to grab that mask for yourself. How can I serve you when I'm suffocating? You know? And so we got to be the first partaker, and that's that part of self love. That self care is a part of self love. Don't you agree? You were like, yes.
and self care is not even just massages and and
Mhm.
and bath rubs and things of that nature in the spa. Self care is lotioning your body, having enough time to lotion your body when you come out the shower. Self care is lighting your candle and cleaning your house the way that you really wanted to. Self care is journaling. I really truly believe in journaling and getting your thoughts and your feelings out as life is happening. And then what I love about journaling is that you can go back and look at your progress. You can go back and look at how life has changed. I love documenting everything when it comes to pictures and videos because I actually saw something that I posted just reflecting on my year. And 8 months ago is when I got my life coaching certification. And all the things that I've done in 8 months is out of this world.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And people, one of my biggest messages to people is to not wait until you feel like you're completely ready or to not wait until you feel like you have all the tools necessary to do what it is that you want to do because if you just do it, everything will align itself. Everything will work out the way that it's supposed to as you go along. So when I look back, when I didn't know what I was doing, I never spoke to any kids at all. I had a video on Instagram that said, you know what, I woke up with a revelation today. And I think that I want to keep my speaking youth based for right now, just because I want them to understand their purpose and figure out who they are so nobody has to tell them who they are. That's what self love really is. So then I look back at that and I'm like, wow, I have been to so many different schools in a matter of 8 months doing exactly what I said I wanted to do. I'm happy about that.
I commend you on that as well. I do. I love that because I say this all the time. If you don't know who you are or where you're going, then someone can take you anywhere and tell you anything. And so I love, love, love that. And the fact that you're working with the youth, you can catch them and help them before they get old. And, it's harder to shift the mindset when they're older. But if you catch them when they're younger, then you can help them and they'll be living a purposeful and a more fulfilled life even at a young age.
Favorite part about it, and I say that all the time, it's so much easier to catch them now than it is for me to try to change the mindset of older people. People in my generation, older than I am. But as the older it gets, the harder it is to change, right? But it's not impossible. Let's not get it twisted as people. That's accountability that you either make a decision that you want to change or you don't. It's harder to get them to change, but that's because they're making a choice not to want to. But when it comes to my youth, I love to talk to them now because I try to be the change that I want to see. And I know it sounds so cliche, but everything that I'm doing right now is purpose driven. It is surrounded by everything that I wish that I had. So at my age, when I was 12 to 15 growing up, I wish it was somebody close to my age, a little bit older, somebody that I think is hip and fun and cool that could tell me, listen, bullying is not okay. Listen, let's talk about suicide prevention. Let's address your mental health issues. What you're saying is valid. I want them to understand that because growing up, I wasn't told that the things that I thought was valid, especially by my parents. The parents can sometimes be your first bully. Parents could be the first person that can break down your self esteem if you don't get the opportunity to be yourself. If you get shut down because I'm the mama and shut up, then that teaches a child that what you say doesn't matter. And when you're around authority, you have to dumb yourself down. And parents have to be very mindful of the way that they treat their children, about the way that they validate their feelings. Oh, shut up. You're not really feeling that way. You just being dramatic. Like, kids are really feeling what they're feeling. There are children at the ages of 12 that's really taking their lives because they really feel so desperate in this world that nobody cares about what they think and how they feel, that they don't want to be here. It breaks my heart. I could get emotional right now. So I go crazy about getting them to understand. I don't care how crazy whatever you feel sounds, you're right. You're correct, because it's your feeling. We all have the right to feel however we feel. Now let's get some understanding on how we could do better. I try to be as soft and kind as I can and compassionate with them. And then after I hear you, I'm going to give you some tools on how you could try to shift and do things in a different way.
I like that. I like that. Because you are, a lot of times you're told, well, you shouldn't feel like that. You can't tell a person how they should feel. You can't, you need to be able to own your feelings, because until you own your feelings, you can't move anyway. You're stuck. Oh my goodness. You feeling this conversation, Chelsea? She got
We
tears.
love when people are feeling the conversation. It's
Yes,
true.
yes,
It's true. And
absolutely.
that's how you teach those kids self-love, being confident in what they have to say. Even when it comes to authority, I tell them, don't allow the teachers to make you feel like you, as long as you're respectful, because we don't want them to get out of control now.
Right.
You can say what you need to say, but you have to maintain your respect. And as adults, we have to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as they're attaining these self-love, self-esteem journey, then all of this will go hand in hand to attain those goals, because they're counseling all of these roadblocks that's hindering them a lot of times subconsciously, because they didn't know who they were. Think that's the case?
It is absolutely the case. When you don't know who you are in life, and then I'm starting to see this even in the world of celebrities, a lot of them don't know who they are. That's why they sway with this little bit of money. That's why they sway with this contract, or that's why they can't speak up in the right times when things are just not right, because they're scared to lose, I guess, what they have attained. But a lot of people don't know who they are. And when I started my life coaching work, I didn't realize how many adults are not sure. I did a survey at my job, and I work in a hospital, when I was doing my life coaching certification. And it just basically asked a number of different questions. What do you think your biggest failure is? Your biggest success might be? What are you afraid of? What do you enjoy the most? And when I'm asking people questions about what their favorite personality trait is, we have 50-year-old people that can't tell me what their favorite thing about themselves are. That is a big deal. The journey of self love can only start when you know who you are. I can't imagine somebody asking me what my favorite personality trait about myself is, and I can't answer them. I know myself so very well. I know what my favorite things are. I like to make people feel comfortable. I love to make people laugh. I could give you my top two, and then I have a list of 48 more. It's like you have to know who you are.
That's good, Chelsea, that you actually did the inner work and knowing who you are and what you like. Because there again, when you understand who you are and what you want, then you're not going to just accept anything. You're not going to compromise your standards, because you understand this is who I am. And either you're going to come up here, or you're going to say,
Simple. And that could save your life. That could save your life. You don't realize how important it is. You find yourself around the wrong people. For a prime example, and this is how I like to get people to connect. I'm not sure if you know what happened to one of the rappers in the Migos group. He got shot recently and he died. Now, he was the most out of the way member of the group. They're a hip hop rapping group. And he was like the most quiet one, the most just humble. He was the only one killed in this situation. And I had to make a podcast episode about it, because I want people to understand the importance of, when you know yourself, then you know who you should be surrounded by, then you know the places that you should be at the right time, then you know when it's time to go home, then you know not even to go with those people because they like to fight, and so you could get caught in something. Like, it goes that deep. When you don't know yourself, you're gonna go anywhere because we gotta go on tour and we gotta go out tonight, and my bros told me let's go out, and anybody can get you to do anything, and it could be detrimental to your life. Real example, I was in Wendy's the other day, and there was a bunch of high school kids. So whenever I see kids, I'm just always watching everything they do because I'm just so protective of them, trying to make sure that they making as best decisions as they can. It's a bunch of them, and somebody must be fighting somewhere. And so one of the guys, all his friends ran out to go to the fight. I guess they were gonna go fight, and he didn't want to go, and he stayed inside with some of the young ladies that was in the restaurant. I guess he knew them too. And then one of the friends came back and was like, "Where you at? Let's go. You acting like a punk." Da, 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 da. And so he's like, "Oh, nah, I was just here. They wanted me to stay with them." Like, that was him not knowing himself. Instead of just saying, "I don't want to go," he said, "Oh, no, they was making me stay here." And then he went with them. And so I told the girls that were in there, now, if something happened to him, I want y'all to understand that in this moment, that was the moment where he had to stand strong on what he believed in. He didn't want to go, so now he go and he get killed because you allow somebody else to decide for you that you a punk if you don't go to a fight. Those are the things that we have to know. And you can't be scared to stand alone. It all still ties back together. Self-love is an alone journey. And this doesn't mean you got to sit by yourself all the time, but you can't be scared to stay alone. I don't want to go to the fight. And I don't care what y'all think about it.
I love it. You know, something else that goes hand in hand with all of this. When you do the inner work and you just really, really be still enough to understand who you are, totally, you will truly understand your self worth. You'll understand that you're more valuable than you're letting people. What did I say one time? You're allowing people to discount you when you're not for sale, and that you're valuable. There's such a value in you that you're priceless. And so when you're priceless, there's nothing that anyone can do to touch that, but you gotta quit putting yourself on sale when you're priceless. Priceless things don't go on sale. You understand what I'm saying? Oh,
I
Chelsea,
needed
you so
that message
strong.
myself.
Huh?
Needed
Uh,
that message myself because it definitely does tie in together. And I do think that there are steps. Self love is the first one. And as you build on that self love, then your self worth goes up a lot higher. And you hold
mhm,
yourself to a higher value. And you
mhm,
recognize when it's people that's not on that same level and you don't let them get that close to you. I see the way
absolutely.
that they can't collide together.
So, Asia, you and Chelsea may need to connect. She said her 7-year-old. Can you see the notes? Can you see the
Oh, let me see in the
comments?
chat.
Can you see the comments? And
Let me
so,
see. Oh wow. Wow, I didn't even see all these comments here. Hey everybody. Let me
yes.
see what
So,
Chelsea said.
yeah. So Chelsea, I'm gonna connect the two of you all because this is
Oh,
definitely sounds like this
yes,
is
I
this
could
is good.
definitely send my life coaching link here. And it's super affordable too, because I know that sometimes therapy or life coaching or any of those things sometimes throw people off when it comes to like insurance or payments or things like that. But I made it super cheap just so that we can start pulling people in because we need this work to be done. And even, yes, down to your 7-year old. 7-year olds understand how they're feeling. We just got to dig it out and talk and get them to see that we care about whatever it is that's going on with them. So I'm here for you, Chelsea. I'm here for anybody that needs anything. You guys
What's your
also can
website?
follow me on, yeah, I was just getting ready to say, you can follow me on Instagram, one at Asia Lee, ASIA dot Lee with 4 E's. So that'll be LEEE. That's my personal page. You can also follow my motivational page. It is the leaders leader. So it's the underscore leaders underscore leader. And I'll spell that out too just in case. THE underscore leaders LEADERS_leader, LEADER. And I love that name because it's like when we do the work within ourselves, we're being leaders to lead somebody else to be another leader. So when I'm talking to my life coaching clients and we're towards the end of however many sessions they want, because that decision is up to them. You can do 1, you can do 10, you can do it for the year, you can do it for the month. But when we're done with the work that they feel like they did, the consciousness is so dynamic where they start to hear the people that's around them doing the things that they were just telling me they were doing and they don't like it. It's uncomfortable. They either try to get them to change, try to help them out too, because that's what the tools are for. We're here to give it. Each one teach one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Chelsea, I'll be keeping you and your daughter in prayer because I do understand the dynamic of divorce, and it's hard on an adult. So children, it's hard for them to process those feelings. So I definitely keep your daughter in prayer, you and your daughter. Um, so Asia, I tell you, this is good. What's the youngest you started off with? I have a 4-year-old as well. Oh wow. She says she has a
We could do
4-year-old.
4-year-old. Honestly, for me, in my career path and everything that I do, I have no requirements on anything. I feel like the things that we talk about, it's gonna either, if it's not affecting a 4-year-old right now, it's gonna affect a 4-year-old by the time they're 40. So why wait? The faster, especially as Black people, that we can take the tools to heal ourselves and heal our pain and talk about those uncomfortable conversations and talk about that family dysfunction and that childhood trauma and the adverse childhood experiences, because I'm dealing with that as a 28-year-old. When I talk to my therapist, we're not talking about problems I have right now. My life is amazing. We're talking about the trauma that's still in my head from things that happened when I was 4 that I can still remember. The trauma, my first 10 years of life was poverty stricken, anxiety stricken. I had anxiety. Nobody asked me. I didn't realize I had anxiety till I was 25. That's a really long time to live your life thinking everything is normal and your actions are showing up in a different way because mental health is not being addressed enough. So we could start with 4-year-olds as long as they know how to talk. Let's do it.
You know what? I want you to, we may have to get you back on here. I want you to kind of talk about that, and it's called in the world of therapy is called ACE, and she said it's called adverse child experiences. So if you experience a divorce, if you experience whatever, it's something traumatic that happened to that child. A lot of times, let's say, like I know a young lady that they experienced homelessness when she was like 10 years old. Well, in her mind of minds, even at a 20 something year old, her mind still kind of stuck in that place of when she was homeless. So she doesn't make decisions out of that grown woman. She makes decisions out of this hurt little girl that needs healing. And so this is what Asia is talking about, adverse child experiences. And Asia, I'm not certified yet, but I'm getting there, back.
Of
but
course, absolutely.
this is what she's speaking of. And you can have so many things and so many dynamics. I know my cousin is a family and children's therapist, and I was in, oh God, I think I was in my 30s when I realized some of the things that I had dealt with childhood trauma. But just talking to her, we were just kind of talking. And I was like, oh, I dealt with that. Oh, I dealt with that. But it's you have to have these conversations with someone to understand and validate those things that you were feeling. That makes sense.
And like you said, how you grew up, it took you to 30, and then you speak to a professional that says, hey, those things you went through, they weren't normal. We
Mhm.
don't know this.
Right.
We don't know these things.
Yes.
Forget the 4-year-olds as well. Us as grown people, we think as parents we're living a regular life and we're doing things that's creating more trauma as well because we haven't even dealt with our own. It goes on for generations and generations and generations if we don't do the work.
One of the things
Like
that
you said,
you talked
adverse
about,
childhood experiences are.
keep going.
What you say?
No, keep going. I remember what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Adverse childhood experiences. One of the like you said, homelessness, poverty, domestic violence, incarceration, a parent being incarcerated for a child is a childhood, an adverse childhood experience. These are things that are so normal in our community that we do not realize as our children are growing up, it is affecting them. And it are things that we have been affected by before we became adults.
Hmm. And there are so many things that's tied in with that poverty part that people have no clue that those kids are dealing with. You know, and in so many communities, you talk about molestation, and all kind of other things that's happening. You know, the elephant in the room that people don't want to discuss. These children are hurting, and so then it comes out in their behaviors in school. You know, and so yeah, yeah,
And then we
it's a lot.
call them bad. And then we call them bad. And then we start breaking their self esteem down even more and making them feel unworthy for things that's not even their fault. That's why I do the work in the schools. And that's why I like to talk to the bad children. So we can figure out what is really going on. When I do anti bullying workshops, there was my last workshop I did was so beautiful. It was such a great breakthrough. It was a young lady that was proud. She was like, I am the bully. So nobody, I don't get bullied. I am the bully. And she was proud of it. And I remember being that girl. And I remember, and I saw it, the pain at 12 years old, being prideful about being mean. When I was in that age group, I was a bully too. And guess what? It's because I experienced homelessness for such a long time from the ages of birth to about 8 years old. And then we lived in a shelter. So that was more of it. And then by the time I was 12, we started going through domestic violence. Then I'm going into obesity and just so many different things that your kids are going through every single day. And I said this on my podcast. Parents think that they go through their little things in life. You arguing, fussing, and fighting in your relationships and domestic violence and trauma, and your kids are experiencing them with you. If not worse than you are, because they don't even know what's going on. They're not even tapped into their emotions enough to decide that this is giving them anxiety. They just have to show up and, hi, mommy, are you okay? They're nervous. They're broken down by the things that we're doing. We have to be mindful of the way that we talk in front of them, the cursing, the carrying on, the arguing, and causing anxiety inside of these kids at a young age. I've been nervous my whole life. I've been seeing people arguing, fussing, and fighting my whole life. It still affects me to this day. Where sometimes I might be sleeping and feel like I hear somebody arguing. Nothing is even being said. It is important for us to be mindful of our behavior. And it is very important for us to tune in with our children when things happen about how they feel. If you know it was uncomfortable, something that happened in front of your kids, please ask them if they're okay and what you could do to make that situation better.
Girl, you just said a mouthful, and I need, whew, y'all, somebody gonna get mad at me with this comment. I need y'all to put these things down, put them down, and be present for your children. Be present for your children. Check in, because one of the things, you can buy them every expensive toy. You can buy them all the name brand shoes. You can buy them $500 shoes. It's not going to bring back their childhood. We can't press rewind and get the childhood back. Take the time and be present, and you'll know, you'll see as that parent that's checked in, something's wrong with my baby. H, I need you to read the comment.
You better believe that what you said is absolutely right. That's what I'm
But
dealing with my daughter. Show about this.
so I really, really, I need parents of all ages, all stages, put these phones down and be present. You're there, but with these phones, you're still not there. Put them down and be present. Listen to your children. So many of these children are going through so much mentally. Like she talked about, bullying is on the rise. They're bullying in school. They're bullying on the internet. They have cyberbullying. These kids are going through so much. And when before I left Georgia, there was a young lady that I knew personally. Her niece took her own life at 12. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so, y'all, this stuff is real. So you gotta, tune in and know what's going on with your children and get them the help that they need.
Chelsea,
Mm,
Chelsea, I say, don't worry about what anybody is telling you about how to take care of your daughter. Honestly, because like you said, it is so much going on at home. So I heard of this new thing called gentle parenting, and I truly believe in it. Where it is a little embarrassing if she's showing out and acting up, and it does make you feel like you don't have control over her in that moment. But hey, what are you supposed to beat her up right now because she's crying? I feel like what we have to do is use our tools of effective communication and still try to talk them through those moments. Listen, you need to calm down, please. These kids are way smarter than we think they are. They know when they're being manipulative. They know when they're being disorderly. They know when they want something. They know how to ask. They know how to be kind and patient when they want to. And so when they do go into those fits, we have to be the most patient because I know it's embarrassing. I know it's frustrating. But I'm telling you, we got this. We're going to get it right because we don't have to live in chaos. Things are
right.
going to keep happening. Life is going to keep throwing things at us, but we don't have to keep living in chaos. And like you said, the most important thing is putting these phones down. I even do it to myself. If I'm not posting my business, if I'm not posting my content, I have to go. I can't watch the shade room. I don't want to see the celebrities. We sit on this internet and it's called digital wellness. We're not mindful of that as well, where it's an overload of dopamine where it's like you're getting all your motivation from Instagram and social media, and then you have nothing left for yourself, nothing left for your children by the time you sign off. Be mindful of your digital wellness. Be mindful how much time you're spending on your phone. Pay attention to these kids. Spend time with them. Help them figure out their purpose. I wish my parents afforded themselves the opportunity to dig into what my purpose was. I had to do it on my own. And at 28, sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I wish that I had more guidance and more mentorship in my life from my parents, more education and more tools from them. I'm now teaching it back to them, but I wish. And if you have the opportunity now to be involved in your kids, get them in mentorship programs as well. I'm a part of a mentorship program, Complete Girls Inc. Get them in these mentorship programs. It's a virtual mentorship, so it's not even an excuse why they can't be a part of an empowerment program at a young age, teaching them etiquette, teaching them about building resumes. We talking so many different things, giving them opportunities to see different and not just be on their phones all the time. Y'all get them out your face and give them their phone. They stuck to the tablet. They eyeballs hurting looking at the screen 45 hours a day because you want them out your face. We have to be present.
Absolutely. One of the things I typed in the comments was the most expensive gift that you can give your child is your time, because that time is what's creating memories with them. You know,
Yes.
no one's perfect. I'm not saying that, but by all means, create an environment where your children want to talk to you, where your children are looking to spend that time with you, because um, if you don't spend it with them, that's when it's easy for them to go into the gang of life, because that's a family for them. So you don't
Yeah.
want the streets to get them. So you want to spend that time with your children and have them open up. If that means you got to go get them a therapist, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. But you've got
It's
to do the
necessary.
work. You got to know what's going on with your kids. You don't want to lose them to the streets. You don't.
And
You
you
don't. You
can't
don't.
get, you know what I also noticed, because we want to be realistic to the fact that in our community, we are given certain disadvantages, right? So when it starts with poverty, you better already know that you need to be checking in with your kids because you don't got it, that means they don't got it. Okay. So that's already a reason to be checking in with them, right? But as it relates to all of the other issues, you I get that sometimes parents are not present because they have to work. That's a you be mindful of just that alone. Sometimes you so tired, you feel like you don't even have the time. But again, you still have to make it because, like there are people saying in the comments, them kids don't care about them toys. They love toys. But how many times do we see people grow up and say they wish their parents just loved on them and had real effective communication and were deep inside their personal lives? They don't care if y'all don't have no money. Honestly, I didn't care if I didn't have money either. I only cared when I went to school and maybe compare myself to others. But I just wanted my parents to be there for me. I just wanted to feel heard. I just wanted to feel like I could trust them with my thoughts. I wanted to feel like, even as a little kid, if I'm sad right now, you cared that you made me sad. You cared that you yelled at me. I was talking to my sister earlier, and my nephew was 5 years old, and she told me how he would tell her, like, if she yelled at him for something that he did, which she probably should have at the moment, like, it wasn't like she was wrong for yelling at him, but if he said, "Mommy, you hurt my feelings," or "You made me sad by doing that," she actually apologizes. And that's a beautiful thing to do, because number one, effective communication, you don't even really need to yell to get your point across. But kids can be frustrating, and we're very clear on that. But if your kid comes back to you later on and say, "Mommy, you hurt my feelings," that's a good teaching moment for both of you. Now you can apologize for why you yelled, and then you can further explain, "I did that because of this." We have to start doing better at explaining to our children and stop feeling like I'm the parent and do what I say and don't ask no questions. It's not conducive to who they're going to be as an adult at all. Because then you grow up with that same "I said so" attitude, be wrong and strong.
Wrong and strong.
Strong. I got that from my grandma.
I love it. Wow. Any final words? We're almost coming up on an hour. I can't believe it. Any final words that you want to leave with someone that is, that has been, they flowing. Y'all, thank y'all so much for all your comments as well.
Thank you so much, everybody. I think the final words that I want to leave us on as we go into the new year is we want to maintain our peace at all costs, right? Life is going to continue to keep throwing things at us no matter what, but we now have to start learning the tools that it takes to maintain joy every day through the financial struggle, through the adverse childhood experiences, through the trauma, through the divorce, through the mental health, through the depression and anxiety. Get a spiritual connection with the Lord. I'm telling you, that's been my number one savior through everything. It then led me to be a life coach. It led me to be able to talk to anybody, because God is the creator and the maker of my way, of my day, of my mind, of everything. So anything that I need, the source comes from him. That's number one. But I'm not here to preach to anybody about religion, because I'm more spiritual than religious. But as we go into the new year, let's do what we can and get the tools and do the self-education to make sure that we're good, so that we can make sure that our children are good. And I'm here for everybody. You can follow me on Instagram at Age Elite and the Leader's Leader. And then my links are there for you to book a life coaching session. I also have a social media management masterclass on there if you want to learn how to take advantage of social media and not just be here looking at what everybody else is doing. Let's get money, because there's certainly ways for us to put our purpose out there. And whatever your purpose is, there's somebody in the world that wants to see it. So let's start doing that. You can listen to my podcast. The link is on there as well. Holly Sees It on YouTube and Spotify. And my lip gloss line, I will be dropping a small holiday collection for everyone to shop. They're non-sticky glosses, because as women, the men hate giving kisses and it's all sticky on their lips. So I made it super non-sticky. Organic coconut oil, olive oil, almond oil based, and they're clear glosses, super cute. And that's it for me. I thank you so much, because you are such a beautiful soul. I love what you're doing. I'm inspired. Okay, I'm on fire. I would love to be back whenever you have time, whatever you want to talk about. I am here for it. And I thank you for your energy, for sure.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I have your contact information on the page so that they can actually go
Thank
and follow
you.
you on Instagram and with your
For y'all, let's
personal.
grow together.
Yes, yes, yes. And so,
Nobody's too old to change.
absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you again. As you've opened up so many things for people to think about, the self-love journey, the self-esteem, because as they go on this self-learn journey, the self-esteem is going to do this, as well as understanding your self-worth, so it's going to skyrocket. And so,
It's going to keep doing that too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want you to stay backstage for just a moment for me, okay? All right.
Okay.
So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to having you back, okay?
I will be back.
Okay. All right, y'all. So if you missed any of this amazing interview, you want to go back and listen to it. If you have not already followed our, excuse me, subscribe to our YouTube page. Y'all know we started building that a couple of months ago. So we want you to go over to Aaliyah, the Purpose Midwife, and go and subscribe to it. And I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to leave a comment once we're done. Comment on what stood out to you tonight. What pulled on your heartstrings? What stood out and spoke directly to you, because there was so much that was pushed out tonight, that was released, and there were so many seeds that was sown. And so I want you all to, take that thing in and think about, do I need to do some reflections? Do I need to look in that mirror and say, okay, you know what? It's time to do this again. It's time to go back and love on me again. Because it's time for you to understand that you're worthy of everything that God has promised you. Well, I am Aaliyah, your purpose midwife. I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, on Friday Inspire. Love you guys.